What up, what up? So I stumbled upon the summarized version of the script for the canceled J.J. Abrams Superman film, and all I can say is, thank the good Lord this was canceled because this is horrible. And because I had to read this monstrosity, you have to experience it too. So let me just go over it for you really quickly. The film would have started off with Superman fighting a female Kryptonian who was named Ty-Zor in Metropolis, and they basically were just throwing each other through buildings. Basically, Man of Steel's final battle with Zod and Superman, just full-fledged destruction. But Superman was getting his ass absolutely kicked by this female Kryptonian. Then in the middle of the fight, we would cut to Krypton that is going through a civil war, and we would see 100-foot robots, basically the Iron Giant, absolutely decimating all the Kryptonians. We then obviously go to Jor-El, going to Kal-El, putting him in a ship, sending him to Earth. He lands on Earth. He's taken by the Kents. He's raised by the Kents. You know, the usual Superman lore. But after this point, I'm just preparing you now. Everything I'm about to say goes completely off the rails. Whatever you know about Superman and his lore, throw it out of the window. We then go back to current time where Superman, I guess, is fighting with this female Kryptonian or whatever's going on. And we find out that the head of the CIA is Lex Luthor. In this version, he's not a millionaire. He's not the CEO of a company. He's just the head of CIA. And he has this weird obsession with UFOs. And he's trying to convince the government to give him more funding to investigate UFOs. Then, famous reporter Lois Lane writes an article about Lex Luthor and all of the stuff he's trying to do with UFOs. And it basically backs Lex into a corner to where he feels like he has to do something. And he just announces to the public that the government has actually found a UFO. This spooks Superman, thinking that the UFO they found is his, and he's just worried, thinking that, oh, his identity is about to be revealed, whatever. But in reality, they really don't have nothing. But the government is absolutely sick and tired of Luthor, and they fire him, which doesn't end well.
But you can't do this to me. I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
Luthor ends up finding Ty-Zor, the Kryptonian he was fighting in the beginning, Superman was fighting in the beginning, and they basically team up as she is there to kill Superman. And her and Superman are battling, they fighting, going back and forth, and she kills Superman. Yes, you heard me right. Superman dies. He's killed by the female Kryptonian. But then he comes back. He comes back to life in the same film and fights Ty-Zor again, who's been basically given the entire Earth and rules the Earth. And he fights her, beats her, whatever. But then we find out why Lex Luthor is so obsessed with UFOs. Now, if you know any level of Superman lore, just take a gander on why Lex Luthor would love UFOs or have an obsession with them. You know, maybe they crash landed when he was a kid, he saw them. You know, maybe a UFO he saw when he was a child, everyone thought he was crazy. You know, maybe a meteor landed on Earth killing his parents, and he's like, oh, he vowed to find out what space is. You know, throw that out the window. In this iteration, J.J. Abrams was going to make Lex Luthor a Kryptonian. Lex Luthor was going to be a Kryptonian, and him and Superman were going to fight, obviously, and it was going to be one big final battle. Superman was going to win and save the day, and the movie was going to be over. Yeah, J.J. Abrams, just stick to making TV shows.